Today we're talking first impressions of Hollow Knight Silksong. Was it worth the wait? Plus, Borderlands 4 has revealed its content roadmap, but is Gearbox steering the series in the right direction? And 007 First Light was shown off this week in Sony's latest State of Play. Is this the Bond game we've all been waiting for, or just another license let down? Stick around to find out. Welcome, friends, to Good Playing With You, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my Silksong playing squad of Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matthew Moulding.
Hey now.
Before we hit the headlines, one quick note. We're 191 subs away from our goal of 1K, so if you could hit the like and subscribe button, we would really appreciate it. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into the headlines of the week, and let's talk Silksong. Moulding, you have the story.
Yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong released yesterday, and while we don't have a review roundup for all of our good buddies out there today, as review codes were not sent out to content creators and reviewers ahead of launch, all three of us did get our hands on it, so we are excited to tell you what we think so far. Boys, take it away.
More than happy to. Hey, we finally got it. They did us dirty by releasing it at 7 a.m., West Coast time. Those Aussies over there, I expected to be playing that, what was it, Wednesday night? But I had to wait, and you played through a nice little intro section, and it has that same super tight controls. It feels great. I got it on the PC. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm ready to put some more time into it, and I gotta say, playing that first little boss, I think that was like the just kind of little challenging moment, because I didn't get to play all that much before the pod, but it was great. I thought it was nice. It's good to be back in that world. I love the atmosphere. I love the sound effects, the fighting. I always thought the fighting felt very like punchy. You strike something, it like screen kind of shakes, everything, it just rattles. It's a good time. I think it was great. I like how in this one you can do that like dive dash, like those smash down, like kind of the diagonal situation. That's awesome. Yeah,
I agree. Great. Yeah, no, I'm super pumped about this one. It felt really good. Now, we only got a couple hours into it, but it felt like returning to an old friend. It did have the great moves that you were talking about. It looked gorgeous. It sounded beautiful. The play controls were just as tight as I remembered. And then I was murdered.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, oh, yes, this is that sense of frustration and dread that I have over and over. But I was able to get back up, dust myself off, and get back to that guy, and then get all of my, it looked like rosary beads were collecting this time. And then I was able to use them as currency to open up a save slot. So there's a huge adventure, I know, waiting for us. And in fact, I heard that like in the original Hollow Knight, it was speed run had to be under 20 hours to get the achievement. And this one has an achievement for doing a speed run under 30 hours. So I'm like,
oh my God.
Doggy. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of meat on this run. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of meat on this bone, and I'm super pumped about it. What do you think, Moulding?
Yeah, the Metroidvanias are just not my cup of tea. However, it is gorgeous. Sound design, fantastic. I love how the background moves when you're moving. It's all very beautiful. The play is fine. I'm okay with it. I just wasn't a Hollow Knight fan. I played very few hours of the first one. So if we're seeing some of my footage, I don't know if it's my footage or one of our footages, that I didn't know some things to do. Like, I had no idea that you have your heal, and then the more you hit people after that, you get that heal back. So the first, like, I don't know, hour and a half that I played it, I thought I only had one heal. So once I had that heal done, I was like, oh man, I got to run back and go to the save spot and refresh. But now that I know that you can refresh that heal, it made it so much better once I figured that out. What else? It's just, there came to a point where I fell down this long tube and I had to climb my way back out of it. And I was just like, Jesus, I made one simple mistake and it cost me like 7 minutes of playtime. And that's just not what I find very fun. It's not as brutal as Souls-like games, Soulsborne games are, which I really enjoy most of them. We've talked about how there's just too many of them out now. But it's just that different play style. It's not my favorite thing,
Give
You
it
found
but
time,
it is
though.
enjoyable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give
I
it
do
time.
want to. I do want to keep playing it.
You found the forbidden tube steak and you paid the price. You paid
Yeah.
the price, man. I'm of the mindset where this is one of those games that you can play, you can pop in and out at any point. You
Yeah.
may be a little rusty, but it is always going to be there. I did that with the original Hollow Knight for a really long time, and I'm excited since I got this one on the PC. I'm gonna play this one on the Steam Deck, and I'm gonna try and see, if it feels better on the Steam Deck than it had on the Switch. I'm excited to put more time into this. And one other thing, this game, when it did come out, it did break the internet. They're even talking about, this is from Ethan Gatch, they're from Kotaku, like it crashed the Switch 2 eShop and Steam page. They have all sorts of reports that they couldn't get it at 7 a.m. Poor folks out there. See, I had to wait a little bit, so it didn't impact me. And then apparently for the PS5 users out there, they didn't get it till around 10 a.m. Pacific.
Oh,
So
wow.
this game is that popular, which, to be honest, I'm surprised by. I didn't realize it was gonna like take out infrastructure. That is a little surprising to me.
I
And
agree too, because that was my one complaint: is there was no foreplay. There was no foreplay. They just shoved it right in. Like we didn't hear anything for like 5 or 6 years or whatever, and everyone's wanting to see something, hear something, and then all of a sudden, wham, bam, and there's the game. And I'm not complaining. I'm super pumped that we're playing it, but that was like, wow, I just didn't see that coming.
maybe it's
I
the
think
way.
it shows a lot of confidence that they didn't send codes out. They were like, this is just we have a good idea that this is gonna do well, so you like it or you don't, and it's no skin off our Australian outbacks.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to get more into it and see, it get a little bit more difficult. I did notice right from the start, like they don't let you select difficulty. I mean, it is just like, this is the way you're going to play the game. And here
And
you
that's
go,
fine.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
what would you even do with a higher difficulty? Just make the enemies more meaty? Is that I guess that's what you would do.
More increase
meaty.
enemy count, maybe. But then I feel like a lot of the enemies are placed strategically to make the map flow a certain way. So that wouldn't work.
I fought this one guy that was shooting these globs, these like spit globs, and he had to jump across. And it was just timed so perfectly that every time you jumped across to the other platform, he spit that glob. And I wanted to throw my effing controller. It made me so angry.
Ollie's getting trolled by this game. I don't know.
I am.
You love hard games, so I'm
Yeah,
surprised
I do.
you haven't beaten it already.
I know. No,
You're gonna play
30
more.
hours.
You're gonna play more, Molly. I know it.
I am
I
gonna
agree.
play more.
Shout out to Hella Dope Guy, because he really loved the first one, so I know he's gonna be picking this one up and like putting so much time into it, and he's gonna want us to keep playing. I'll just tell you that much. So we got to do it for Hella Dope Guy.
I will.
Well,
I'll do it.
I'll definitely do it for this weekend, but next weekend I want to play Borderlands 4, and I can't wait to talk more about it. But before we do that, Moldy, why don't you tell us about Instant Riot?
Absolutely. This week's episode is brought to you by our friends at Instant Riot. Instant Riot is the clothing brand for gamers, pop culture enthusiasts, and everyone in between. And they just so happen to be the official partner for Good Playing With You merchandise. Go to instantriot.com and enter First Riot for 10% off your first order. Big thank you to our friends over there.
Yes, thank you for that. All right, now let's talk Gearbox and their plans for Borderlands 4's roadmap. I don't know if you guys are as excited about this as I am, but you should be. Now, their post-launch kind of plans are a little bit different than they have been in years past. So I want to go over it with you guys. There are two sections here. There's the free stuff, and then there's the paid tier. And I just want to get your reaction because they have changed things up over previous years. So essentially, this week, Gearbox unveiled the Borderlands 4 roadmap, and it's packed with content stretching well into 2026. On the free side, things kick off later this year with invincible bosses in Q4, which are raid-style encounters designed for max-level players chasing the hardest fights and the best loot. October also brings the seasonal event Horrors of Kairos, a Halloween-themed celebration with spooky weather effects, cosmetics, and new legendaries. To keep players engaged week to week, Gearbox is adding road rotating content like encore boss fights, wildcard missions with fixed modifiers. And then there's Maurice's Black Market Machine, which shifts location, I guess, like Xur and Destiny 2. So you have to like find it to get the unique loot. Hardcore fans will also get the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode right after the campaign. And you guys will know this because that is what was Badass ranks in Borderlands 2 or Guardian ranks in Borderlands 3, where your progress there is for all your characters. So it's account wide. And I loved that because you could build it up and then come back to the game a year later. And if you start a new character, they get all the benefits of all of the previous characters.
Diablo does the same sort of thing too.
I love that. I think more games
I do
need to do that. It encourages more gameplay and more playthroughs. And then in early 2026, the legendary pearlescent weapons make their long-awaited return, giving grinders the ultimate loot chase. So it sounds like they're holding back some of their best top-tier weapons for 2026. So they really are trying to stretch out this content roadmap a little bit longer than usual, which is interesting. On the paid side, Gearbox plans to roll out bounty packs, which are like small DLC drops with a new boss, missions, gear, cosmetics, and vault cards, which are full of daily and weekly challenges. That sounds kind of like a season pass, which is interesting, but it doesn't go away. And then in 2026, 2 major story packs will land, each bringing a brand new Vault Hunter, a new region to explore, and a darker storyline. The first is scheduled in early 2026 with another later in the year. It's a roadmap built to keep Vault Hunters busy for a year after a launch, if not more, from weekly rotations to raid bosses, seasonal events, and full expansions. What do you guys think? Does this content plan like intrigue you at all?
Well,
I
you
don't-
had me
I
at
don't-
Halloween. Like,
No.
right? I love a
Love a
good
seasonal.
Halloween.
Yeah, I love a
and
seasonal
this
event.
probably is like the first time Borderlands has done. Do they do Halloween in any of the
They
past?
did. They did
Yeah,
Halloween
see,
and they did Valentine's Day, weirdly enough, in the last one.
and just one thing that I gotta say, I applaud them for the transparency. I love to hear when you know the game is going to be supported after launch. They know there's a lot riding on this game. So they are putting it all out there. They're making sure players are going to be satisfied. And I appreciate them doing that. I think that's awesome. This does make me more hyped than I was realizing it was going to be, especially the Halloween stuff. That is obviously great. But yeah, love the transparency.
Moldy?
I don't want to play this game, but I'm gonna have to buy it, aren't I? I'm
Yes,
gonna have
you
to do
are!
it.
Yes,
Oh, I don't want to though.
I know. Oh,
But
I mean,
it's gonna drive me nuts seeing you play it on there and me not being able to join in. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. I agree with Lord. It does sweeten the deal a little bit, knowing that there's gonna be this support long after. So those 2 DLCs, the 2 DLC packs you said coming in 2026, those are gonna be the paid ones, correct?
Yeah,
and then everything before that is all free content drops. Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, except for the bounty packs. Now, those are like small DLCs.
Okay.
They're also paid. And what I'm thinking those are coming from, and what that's reminding me of, is Tiny Tina's. Like, I know they bagged, everyone hated Tiny Tina's season pass because it was just boss battles. But here they're like, hey, we really like that idea. We're going to take that boss battle, but then we're going to add on missions and all the other things that you like. And we're not going to reinvent a story or everything, like a whole new location. So it sounds like a best of both worlds situation. I did like that, in the previous game, we had 4 DLCs and they were super meaty, but they were a little bit samey. So here, this is really exciting me because at least I know I'm getting 2 meaty DLCs, but then I'm getting something I've never experienced before with the bounties. I'm getting more of a live servicey aspect with these like passes or, things that we can work through. And then I've got the seasonal events and all the free stuff. So yeah, it's awesome.
Wait, did I miss price points on those?
Yes.
Yes. What were they? Were they $20?
They're not announced. They want you to buy, you get all of this in the $99 edition.
Oh,
so
F that. No way that's happening. $100 bucks? No way.
Yeah, I know. But the $70 version is still gonna get like the pearlescent weapons and the seasonal stuff and the free tier,
Yeah. So then they'll probably do like what? It'll be $15 a piece, probably for the DLC. Then
I think past ones have been between 20 and 30, haven't they?
But they haven't been 30, but they do drop in price really, really quickly. But my thing is, do they do one season pass, or they break it up? Because you've got the bounty packs, which are small, and then you've got the story DLCs. So those together is probably going to be, something. And then you've got 2 of each. So that's 4.
Yeah. I'm just acting as microtransaction police over here. I'm like, what do we got?
No,
like,
as you should.
No, no harshing my buzz. I'm super pumped for this game, and you guys need to get on board.
I'm just like, man, I don't know. I mean, that could really start to add up, I'm realizing. And I mean, I guess like if the $100 situation does come with all that, I can see how there could be some value there. I guess we'll just have to kind of see it in action, but you're right. Like this could be a game, that would be fun for all of us to jump into, especially if we can get the Halloween stuff. I'm like really ready for Halloween. Like I am.
Thank you. Me too.
Jonesing. So
we need to get some Halloween lights on the show. Like you guys need to start busting out your shit because I'm ready to party.
No, I'm ready.
Here's the real way you play the Borderlands games, though. You get them at launch. You know what? Gearbox is pretty good. I don't want to burn myself, but they're not the buggiest, although there are some occasional bugs. Then you grind through a character, you play the campaign, you burn out of it. Then you let Gearbox come and deliver all of their DLC and that sort of stuff. You wait for it to go on sale. Then they also will tweak the game to make it a bit easier. Then on Twitter, they will have all of their perennial like golden keys, and you jump back in a year later, you get a discount on the software, you get the new golden keys, you start a new character, and you go through the whole thing again. That's how I plan to consume this game.
Genius. I love it.
Those golden keys are such a ripoff, man. They're so stupid. You were all over those things in whatever one we played. I think it was 2 or 3. You'd be sending those keys. You're like, oh, this key just dropped on Twitter. Look at this key. And I'd use one and I'd get like blue guns or something. It was so stupid. I hated it.
Okay, you're a dick, but B, unfortunately, you're not wrong, because what happened was in Borderlands 2, those gold keys were top tier, and they were rare, and they were awesome. But then Borderlands, they did me wrong. Like
that's what it was.
Yeah, they flooded the market with those gold keys, and they were worth nothing, and they gave you crappy loot. It wasn't even good loot, and so I was just like, fuck.
Yikes.
They ruined it.
And I even heard about these gold keys. That's how far this has traveled. I wasn't even playing. Dan's like, gold key? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the game.
I am a little obsessed with gold keys.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and because in Borderlands 4 we don't know how valuable the gold keys are going to be, you can bet your asses I'm going to be texting you gold key codes just in case there were something. Yeah. And then we find out the economy
right now.
Buddy, you should have blocked me a long time ago.
That is truer words have never been said.
Oh shit. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that game.
I guess I am too.
Yes, play with me for sure, because I know that Brendan wants to play, and if our listeners want to hit us up for a player, I'm around. I'm gonna
at Attack 79 on Xbox. Check me out.
Danthrax07. I'm gonna be online playing this one, and my game's open. That's for sure.
Crunchy Cortex.
Yeah, love that Crunchy Cortex.
Are you going to play it on Xbox, or are you still going to play it on PC if you get it?
Oh, yeah.
No, good call. I'll probably end up playing on PS5 if I'm going to be playing with you boys, because...
it's cross-platform, though. So
then good. PS5.
You'll just have to find a way to jump in our chat, like the app on your phone or whatever.
Discord.
Who knows?
We can play on Discord.
I might do Xbox. Yeah. You never know. Yeah. See how the Xbox S runs. It'll take off. It'll literally be a jet engine, but we'll work it out.
Well, let's talk about 007, another great looking video game. And that one was on PlayStation, and it got a huge state of play this week. Lord, you had this one.
Yeah, PlayStation drops over 30 minutes of 007 First Light gameplay. This comes from the PlayStation blog. In this special state of play, IO Interactive offers an extensive look at its standalone original Bond adventure, featuring spycraft, combat, gadgets, and driving. We showcase footage from 2 missions that highlight the game's immersive design and cinematic flair, from a covert operation at a high-stakes chess tournament in Slovakia, closing with a high-altitude showdown, to an infiltration of a lavish gala in Kensington, London. These missions offer a glimpse into the living and breathing worlds that Bond will navigate as he discovers the world of espionage. Now, this game launches March 27th, 2026. But what do you think? I mean, it's 30 minutes of gameplay. Are we more hyped for this game? Is it an Uncharted clone? What are your thoughts on 007 First Light?
More hyped. I love IO Interactive. Friends of the pod know that Hitman World of Assassination is absolutely one of my favorite games. I love the gameplay, and talk about a publisher or developer that supports a game long after launch. They are still putting out content for for Hitman World of Assassination. It is still, you still get the elusive targets come out, and there's always content for it. So I'm expecting the same sort of thing for Bond. Bond is not my favorite IP. I do enjoy the movies. I do think it's fun, but something about this really does have me kind of excited, and I think I'm going to be interested in this, and I'm sure I'm going to want to play it when it comes out.
I got to back you up on that one. I am 100% excited too. I was previously excited when you guys were poo-pooing this one when it was first shown off, but I knew it was going to be a winner. I think it looks fantastic. I love what they've done here too. They were saying it's like one of the biggest Hitman worlds they've ever built, and it definitely has the Uncharted vibes. And let me be honest with you, Sony is starving us for these kind of adventures and this kind of content. So because of all of that, I am 100% in. Then you add that the actor is Patrick Gibson, who is such a cool guy. I thought he was awesome in Dexter Original Sin. He played the young Dexter. And so it's fun that we're getting a fresh take on 007 and he's playing the young James Bond. He's a great actor. I think this looks like a lot of fun. I think it's going to be huge, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I'm with you. Both you guys, I'm there. I mean, I definitely got a good. I have no problem with a combination of Hitman and Uncharted. I think a combination of stealth and the Uncharted action sequences that were on full display in this make me really excited. I thought it was cool, and the set piece with the plane taking off and just like the crazy gunfight. The one concern I have to say is I do think they need to put maybe a little bit of polish into the performance. I thought there was a little bit of blurriness going on, maybe a little
driving was a little janky. There was a little jank there.
That's
I think
gonna be probably the one hiccup with this one is
they have a lot of time though.
They've got
6 months, half a year. They've got.
And I'm
more than that
impressed with what they had shown off. So I'm really excited. I think it looks awesome. It's going to be really fun. I think there might have been one too many quips in there for me. I know that's a James Bond thing, but I'm just like, okay, please just not make this bad boy a quip fest the whole time. I just, I've said this before. It's like, let's just take it one way or another, please. But, all in all, I thought this was awesome. It was like 30 minutes of solid gameplay, and it looks beautiful. Count me in.
Is that kid British? The actor?
Yes.
By any chance? I would assume that they would put a British actor in the role of the video game too.
Right. Yeah. He ended up speaking a little bit in this kind of towards the end of it. He kind of like has a little.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's pretty brief, and he just talks about how he's really stoked to play Bond, and he just seems like
what a great opportunity for him. That's great.
I know. I didn't even realize, like, I didn't until you just said something, Dan. I didn't realize that this is like a mainstream actor, which is cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm just super pumped because we haven't been getting a lot of these games, and I can't wait to mix it up. And on top of it, it's a new IP, which means that they can break the mold and do something a little different. And we will definitely have to follow this one even closer as it comes out. So we'll keep you posted. But let's talk about a couple more games that came out this week. Believe it or not, which everyone focused on Silksong, a couple more video games were actually released this week that I don't know if everyone's talking about, and I'm not sure if everyone should be talking about, but there are definitely ones we've talked about and we've been interested on the show. So I want to know more about them. The first one up that released this week was Hell Is Us, and Malding, you have a review roundup for us.
Yeah, Hell Is Us released on the PS5 Xbox Series and PC yesterday. As of recording, it has an 80 on OpenCritic and a 78 on Metacritic. This game is certainly one that I've been looking forward to getting my hands on, and here's what the reviews have to say so far. Marcus Stewart at Game Informer gave it an 83, writing, Hell Is Us feels like a modernized spin on the classic action-adventure game that, as a third-person game, feels obligated to include combat. This game's investigation elements are much more fleshed out in comparison to the action, which is at least passable enough to endure while I enjoy the main treat of running around and solving puzzles. Hell Is Us isn't perfect, but it's a bold and respectable debut that largely delivers on its promise, laying a strong foundation for future stories in a fascinating world. Finally, Ed Nightingale, a Eurogamer, didn't seem to be a fan with his 60 score, writing, as a result of bold design decisions by developer Rogue Factor, Hell Is Us is at times a mapless nightmare of obtuse puzzles, confusing menus, and shallow combat that collectively is hostile to play. Despite these misgivings, I still found Hell Is Us to be a gripping experience. Hell Is Us absolutely thrives on its atmosphere and sense of discovery, which few games nowadays even attempt in quite this manner. So, boys, what do you think? Does hearing these reviews do anything to sway your thoughts on the game one way or the other? And are you interested in checking it out? Or is this just another action game damned to the GameStop discount bin of history?
Dan, react.
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all of us, every time we would see this one at the show, I was the one who was like, I don't know about this one, boys. Like, this one has a little bit worried just because of the generic sort of robot overlord, apocalypse vibes and running through the streets, and and not a lot of color. I like color in my games. I like to see colors. And this one just didn't have that, and I wasn't sure what to expect. But now, hearing these sorts of interesting puzzle mechanics and then shallow combat, I'm like, like if it did hit that bargain bin, I might pick it up. Like I kind of like the vibes it's going for. I like that it's a new IP and trying something different, but I don't know yet. This strikes me as the kind of thing that's going to hit Game Pass in a year, and I'm going to play it then. But I also think this strikes me as something that I don't know if a lot of people are going to be talking about in even a month.
Yeah, this is one of those games that it just came out at an unfortunate time. Lots of games came out this week. Silksong just obviously dominating everything. But I've heard some interesting stuff about this game, and enough for me to pick it up on PC. And I got to play a little bit of it. I played.
Let's hear.
Let me tell you, what really captured my attention was they have a warning at the beginning of the game, and it says, "Oh, minimal map, minimal HUD. You have to rely on your senses and your sight."
That.
And I was like, "That sounds awesome."
Senses.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan. And I guess this is
Dan likes his hand to be held when he plays games.
Yes, I do.
It felt like an adult style type of game, and I thought, okay, that sounds cool. And you're right, people will tell you about like listen for this, listen to wind chime, look for the X's on these trees we marked our way, and a lot of the stuff is very minimal. You really need to look around, and it's usually pretty easy, but I thought really cool. The puzzles I thought were super smart. Lots of text to glyph that I did that's super satisfying. And it reminded me a little bit of Resident Evil 4 in a way, like a Soulsborne Resident Evil 4, and lots of cool stuff. It has a Eastern European sort of setting that I'm really into, and it looks great. I'm definitely going to be playing more of this game. There's so much to be played right now. I mean, we got Metal Gear Solid, we got Hell Is Us, we have Cronos, we have Silksong. So there's a lot, but this is one of those games that in my mind is bubbling up to the top. And I think, okay, maybe this is something that I would want to sink some more time into. And it plays great. I definitely, if you have an interest in this game and you want something that it feels a little bit more unique, and it has almost like the mind bending like a control element. So if that's sort of your speed, this is definitely right up your alley. I was into it. I liked what I was seeing.
One of the reviews said that the comparison as a Souls-like wasn't really apt. Do you think it is from your time with it? Because I'm not interested in another Souls-like at this time, but I am interested in this game. So
well, I do like that you have a drone with you and you're able to control the drone and tell it to do like distract enemies while you're fighting one. And I don't think it's like as in depth as like a Soulsborne type of combat. You really are just, it's sort of like, from what I played was like an action, like a with like a drone. So I don't think it's like a Soulsborne. I don't think that is like a correct comparison. Yeah.
Then I'm much more interested now.
Yeah. No, good stuff. I'll keep playing. I'll report back.
Yeah, please.
Please do, because you say that we've got a lot of games coming out right now, and you're right, we do for the next month or two. But I'm telling you, I've seen the calendar of December, and it's a nightmare unless something gets put in there. Man, the games fall off a cliff here, so we have to enjoy what we have. Now, Malding, you're the one who was most interested in this. So are you going to pick it up? You've been chirping about it all year.
I am, and I'm still chirping about it. Yes, I think I mean, the reviews did, it was a mixed review, so it did kind of push me down a little bit, but I don't know, but there's now with those Borderlands. Which seem,
Borderlands.
I don't know. My poor credit card. That's all I can say.
Melting. Melting. I think this is one of those games too where like it got reviewed a little lower, but I think it is just really up to your preference. Like it just seems like
that difficulty of the no maps, lots of puzzles, like environmental, trying to figure out your way without your hand being held. That all really, really resonates with me. And
for me too.
Malding, if you pick it up, definitely let us know, because I'm curious to see.
I'll chirp about it.
You keep chirping. Keep that chirping. Speaking of chirping, though, Lord would not stop chirping about Cronos New Dawn. In fact, I am secretly so happy that this game finally released, just so we can hear the end of it. And I am here with a review roundup for you, and then let's talk about what you guys think. Essentially, Cronos the New Dawn from Blooper Team released yesterday, and critics had their say. On Metacritic, the game is averaging around a 77 to 78, depending on what platform you're looking for, but that's generally favorable. Starting at the top of the scale, Game Reactor UK gave it a 9 out of 10, writing, Bloober finally shows that they are capable of a completely original creation that fires on all cylinders. Over at GameSpot, the review was still glowing, but a little more tempered, saying, Cronos earns its own name in the genre with an intense sci-fi horror story that will satisfy anyone's horror fix, provided they can stomach its sometimes brutal enemy encounters. Not every critic was completely sold, though. Tech Radar praised the atmosphere and environmental design, but felt the gameplay itself was a little too derivative, saying the game leaves, quote, great ideas underutilized. And on the lower end, PC Gamer criticized the execution more harshly, pointing to inconsistent pacing, frustrating resource balance, and frequent autosaves that can trap players in impossible combat loops. So while Cronos the New Dawn is striking a chord with horror fans, reviews are pretty split, calling it Blooper's breakout moment and pointing to navigating flaws that keep it from true greatness. So what did you guys think? Lord, I know you're super pumped about this one. Are you going to be picking it up?
I will be. Yes. In October, I will definitely. I wanted to I'm like, okay, we got the horror season coming up. It'll be perfect October style game to jump into. And but when I hear there's combat breaking loops, where that to me is like, that's like a deal breaker. Hopefully that gets patched ASAP, because when I hear that, I'm just like, I've been there. I've done that. I've done that many times in different Soulsborne games that, that's just kind of the way it is. But that drives me nuts when you're just like, I'm stuck. I can't do anything. I'm toast. And I don't know. That might be something that I would be really concerned about, but I'm still hyped on this game. I'm honestly, those scores are a little lower than I was expecting. I kind of thought this was going to be like an 85 or 90 type of game, the way it was.
Girl, for me, smoking.
I was liking what I was seeing. I'm like, this is great. Like, it's like a Dead Space clone. You're ready to go. I don't know. So this is something I'm going to wait a little bit. Hopefully they patch some of that wonkiness, and then it'll be good to go in October.
Molden?
This has Game Pass written all over it,
yeah.
man. No, pass me by on this. I'll maybe try it for free, but I can't even see myself trying it for free. I love the Dead Space games, but this just seems like a hollow representation of it. To me, it feels like that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm
I
shook.
gotta say,
I'm sorry.
I agree with you. Unfortunately, these scores are a little bit higher than where I was thinking.
Yes,
it.
agreed. That's what. Yeah, agreed.
I am not a Blooper fan. I just don't think that they're very talented. I think they just kind of like are swiping whatever anybody else has already done, and then they don't have a lot of
Look at
original thought.
face.
They do have some pretty good graphics, but what has me the most annoyed here is the girl is talking the whole time with her helmet on, and we can't see her face. And she walks around, and she's got a nice slinky walk, and she kills some really disgusting enemies, and they've got a really fun mechanic with enemies coming in. So it's got something there. It's not a total waste, but when you can't even see the protagonist's face, I can't feel connected to it. And then the whole world just looks so weird and fantastic. I sure hope they have a narrative that's strong enough to back up some of their imagery, because it just seems so out there and wacky. It kind of reminds me of the Callisto Protocol, and I gotta wonder if that's going to suffer the same fate. At least Callisto Protocol, you could see the main character's face. It looked more like Dead Space. It had a wonky fighting style, and it starred Josh Duhamel, but it fell off the radar really quickly. This one, I don't even know if it's going to make a blip on the radar.
I'm just not interested in picking up any more messages in spaceships. Like I'm tapped out on that.
Whoa. Like not forever, but just for a little bit,
not
right?
forever,
Like,
for right now, until
okay,
they
good.
find a way to spice it back up. Like
you
walking
gotta love. Yeah,
No,
you gotta love a derelict space station. That's just a good trope.
Yeah, you just gotta make it good. Though. Make it good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it comes back around. Hopefully, it gets that roadmap like Borderlands is getting.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Maybe like she takes off her helmet, you can see her face.
Yeah, that's a $30 DLC, probably.
Yeah, right. Oh, Jesus. All right, now let's talk about Mario Kart World. Now, there was a surprising article that came out recently. Lord, you have this one story for us.
Yeah. So Mario Kart 8 is outselling Mario Kart World now. This is from Polygon's Patricia Hernandez. So when a series expands, generally you can expect that the older entry will get phased out by fans in favor of the new game, unless we're talking about one of the most successful games of the generation. When it comes to the force known as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a new console and franchise entry means absolutely nothing, apparently. Nintendo's decade-old racer is still trucking based on the most recent US sales numbers from the month of July. Circana analyst Matt Piscatella posted the gaming industry's most recent sales data on social media earlier this week, and there's plenty to ponder. Remember, the Switch is on track to eventually become the most successful piece of dedicated gaming hardware ever. Currently, Switch is the second most successful gaming console of all time, behind the PS2. New games are still coming to Switch, and the console is also cheaper than its shinier successor, even after a recent price hike. Most people buying Switch 2 might be picking up Mario Kart World, and plenty of people on Switch already own Mario Kart 8. Still, the Switch's audience is vast. 153 million people own a Switch as of August. There are probably more people on Switch that don't have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than Switch 2 owners who don't have Mario Kart World. This might explain how Mario Kart World went from the number one Nintendo game in the US in June to suddenly being knocked down to 6th place. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, meanwhile, went from 7th place in June to 4th place in July. So what's going on here? It's interesting. They're talking about different, the original Switch. Maybe the owners are buying it up still. It's just interesting. Is this the beginning of a downward trend for Switch 2 software? What do you guys think?
It's that $80 price tag. That's got to be what it is. That's what my opinion is. It's just nuts. And everyone who already bought it, who already want it, probably already bought it with the Switch 2 release. So now these numbers are probably people maybe people who are saying, I'm not going to buy that for $80. I'm going to buy it. Well, I thought it was going to be cheaper, but I just looked it up and it is still $60 at the old Nintendo eShop. They do not like to discount their games at all. Do not expect this game to go down in price, which seems like a good tact for them because they're making bank on this one too. So, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
Maybe it's a halo effect too of Mario Kart World coming out, and people are like, "Man, I wish I could get that, but it's $80. Oh well, I'll settle for this $60 alternative." I don't really understand what's going on here when it comes to this, but more so, I don't understand how the Nintendo Switch has sold as much as it has. It doesn't deserve its spot on the list as the number 2 console, and I don't understand.
You mean the original Switch, or are you talking about Switch 2?
Yeah.
The original
No,
Switch.
the original Switch. I don't think it
Oh,
deserves its
wow.
spot. I don't think it has
Oh.
enough software to back up that sort of ranking. And I have so much more fun on my other consoles. I'm not saying it's not a great console. Don't come in at that. And I'm not saying it doesn't have some great games, but the library just isn't there. And I'm shocked that it, I'm wondering, like, it might have sold well, but I wonder what people think about it.
Yeah, it's tough to say. This is an interesting one. I think people really have made it a point to just trash Mario Kart World online. And I think if you haven't bought the game yet, either one of them, you're gonna gravitate towards Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because it's just a cheaper game, and that's not the one getting trashed on. And so that just is the no-brainer purchase. And it just makes me nervous that this is the game that came out with the launch system. Like, this is a launch title, so it's already falling off the launch title. You're right. It's the launch title, and it's already falling off the charts. This is, to me, this, like, when I read the article, I just thought, okay, this seems like a very, almost like, it just, I think it's a sign of what's to come for the Switch 2. I think there's going to be a software drop, and I think the Switch 2 is going to be in trouble. I know right now all the outlets are propping this system up, but I think that we have trouble coming up for this one here soon, and we'll be.
I don't know that we'll know that for a fact until Metroid comes out. I think Metroid will be the barometer of how the sales are going to go. Because do we know anything post Metroid? Any Nintendo IP console selling games post that? I don't know that we do it, but I do also, I think I heard that there's a Nintendo Direct coming soon, possibly this month. So maybe that will highlight some of the games post Metroid.
I'm hoping so. It's just, it looks like sad times, but what do you think, Dan?
I disagree. I think, look, it's very early days for Mario Kart World here. It's going to be coming back. It's going to be huge. And here's how it's going to do it. First off, keep in mind, it's going to follow the exact roadmap, I think, of Mario Kart 8. But keep in mind, Mario Kart 8 was released on a Wii U. It was a Wii U game. So it had the benefit. Now, granted, it didn't sell a lot there because Wii U itself didn't sell a lot. But once it hit Switch, it continued to sell. And then they did the old seasonal pass of levels and different packs that even I bought. And that's really why this game, Mario Kart 8, is so great, is that it has so much content and so many levels. And there's nothing to say they won't go back to their playbook and do the exact same thing for Mario Kart World. It is very early days for Mario Kart World. I expect a season pass. I don't know if it'll be launched in the next Nintendo Direct. God. But it will be brought up. I'm guarantee you in the next year or two, they're going to pull the same shit and they're going to try and sell the same amount of content on this console using the season pass method. I think this is just early days.
Well, if things keep going this way, though, too, if the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe launched on Wii U and that one kind of bombed, they're gonna have another Nintendo's gonna sweep the Switch 2 under the rug and have a new console lined up to prop it up again. That's how they're gonna do it. So
maybe that's what they're announcing in the Direct. They're like the Switch 2.5.
Yeah, that
the Switch 2 is selling so well. That's not
it is for sure.
Just that boggles my mind. I think there has to be some propping up. I think there's some serious hype from outlets. This is like $80 outlet hype for me for the Switch 2. There's something fishy going on there. It's strange. Especially since I just went to Target and saw like 100 Switch 2s. I was like, aren't these supposed to be hard to get? There's like 50 million, right? So I was a little surprised to see one of
But
those in the
wasn't that the
wild.
key to their success? To flood the market
I
as
think
much as
yeah, I
possible?
think
That's why
Could have
they
been.
have such a
Could have been.
high record with sales and stuff like that. They're
Yeah.
actually a company that actually made consoles, and God bless them, because Lord knows when Xbox or Micro or PlayStation come out with consoles, it's hell to get them. And they are like, maybe we'll make a lot of them. And that was a great
That's
plan.
what they did. True.
I think
True.
so too.
Well, at least they're not paying people to play their games, which is what's being
Mm.
accused of Marathon. Mulder, you had the story.
Yeah, this is from Paul Tassi, our buddy at Forbes. Players are getting $500 from Bungie for playing Marathon for a month. Bungie is continuously testing Marathon behind the scenes as it attempts to recover from its poorly received un-NDA'd closed alpha from earlier this year. While there have been some leaks, including new information and images that show visual improvements, the NDAs have clamped down and tests keep running with tight-lipped players. Now, Bungie is about to do its most significant test to date, recruiting select testers to play Marathon for an entire month straight, requiring players to play for 1 hour in a specific window of the day every day. Do that, and you can receive $500 at the end of the month for hitting those metrics. Here's some of the email that was sent out. Quote, this user research study is a play test that will run for 30 consecutive days from Monday, September 8th to Tuesday, October 7th, including weekends. You will be required to play for a minimum of 1 hour daily during the playtest window of 3 to 7 p.m. Pacific time on weekdays and 2 to 8 p.m. Pacific time on weekends. Upon completing the study, you will receive a $500 gift card of your choice as a thank you for your valuable time and feedback. If you only complete part of the study, you will only receive the portion of the reward based on the number of days that you have completed. End quote. This is available only to those who have done closed beta tests so far, so you can't try to slide in now. $500 for 30 hours is $16.66 an hour for what is almost a full-time work week. Tassi adds that he's seen some jokes saying that Bungie is desperate for people to test Marathon, which is why they're doing this, but no, that's just not true, and this kind of thing is a common practice for testing. After the poor gameplay review, closed alpha, and plagiarism scandal, Marathon was delayed indefinitely and still does not have a new release date. Sony has said it will be before March 31st, 2026, so inside the fiscal year, though they didn't fully guarantee that. So, boys, what do you think? Do you think we can prejudge a game based upon this kind of practice, setting aside the issues that Marathon has already been going through? And if the opportunity ever presented itself, would this sort of deal ever be something you would be interested in doing?
Yeah, I'm all over it. If I'm really
That's intense, though. That is a lot of time. Every day, 1 hour, every day for a month.
But you read the fine print, and the key there was that it was prorated. So if you missed a day
Yeah.
or whatever, you lost what, $16?
Yeah.
Look, if there was a game that I was super pumped about, say the new Halloween game that's coming out next year or
Yeah.
whatever, they paid me, I would totally be on there an hour a day just farting around if I had the time. I think, you know what? I think people can make a big deal of this and make a negative story about it and say, oh, they're paying people. It's so bad. They're paying people. But what I'm seeing here is they're actually making an investment. They're actually trying. This has got to cost them a pretty penny. They're going to go the distance on this game, and God bless them, because I sure hope it launches well and they're able to make the changes that they need. But it sounds like they're doubling down on their product, and this is heartening.
I'm with you. If this is something that is this is common practice, which it sounds like it is. So, and I love to see it. I feel like oftentimes you don't get any playtest at all. You have a 1-year beta or something crazy, the open beta, and you let the players play for free. So I feel like
that they charge you for,
that
where
they
you have to
charge you
buy.
for.
Yeah, you have to buy some of the previews. They have to do that. Yeah.
So I think this is a positive thing. I mean, I still would love to know what the deal is with the with the artwork. What are they doing with the artwork? Are they swapping out? Is everything going to be changed in this game? What is the deal? So this is where the NDAs, you said this is an NDA sort of situation. So they're just like,
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure they're just like, you have no idea what is, being shown on the screen. It could be like completely revamped artwork, or like no artwork at all. Who knows? But I'm with you, Dan. I think you're right. This could be like a spun in a negative way, but hey, it shows they want to. I'm surprised they're still wanting to make this game after so much flack this thing caught. So it's great to see that they're going through, and who knows, this could wind up being a decent game after all.
Obviously, I love video games and adore video games. We have a podcast on them, but I think as soon as you tell me you have to play this video game from this time to this time or you don't get any money, I think as soon as I have that feeling for it, my enjoyment of a video game would absolutely tank.
Okay.
So I don't know as a player. Yes, it'd be great to have $500, but I don't know how I would review a game that I would be forced to play during a certain time to get that. I just don't know. I've never been in that situation. I don't know. So it sounds a little rough to me, but now the things that you guys brought up do totally make sense. It does sound like an investment. That does change my attitude around it a little bit, thinking that, hey, they're paying a player to give their opinion of it rather than charging a player to give their opinion on it. That does sound good. So yeah, I think you may have flipped a switch for me a little bit. I don't know. I feel a little bit better about it.
All right. Well, then I have a couple questions for you guys. If the same thing were in place with, say, maybe GTA 6, would your tune change? Would your enjoyment not be lessened? Would you still be excited? Like, would you do it? Would you go the month?
Oh, hell yeah. No, I would for sure. For GTA,
no.
For sure.
No, I'm not lying. No, I'm not lying. And I'm going to say no because of this. I want the crisp final GTA experience. Okay. I do not want to be a test person to find out if this thing in GTA works or doesn't work. I want the final beautiful experience with it. Yeah. That's a game I don't
think we know too either, like how much. Like, are they having to do like a journal or something after they test? Like
they do have to do something afterwards. I cut a little bit out of the thing. You can read it online, the full report from Paul, and you can read also the thing that came from Bungie. They do have to do something at the end of it.
See, that to me, then that just that little extra bit instead of just playing the game, that could wear on you after a while too. You're like, then you're really having to get in. You have to like really use your brain if you're trying to like fine tune. And I'm trying to use my brain as minimal as possible.
You want to use it less. That's your goal. Less brain.
So I don't know. That's tough for any game, really.
Good point. Off the cuff, though, I did name like Halloween as one that I would think would be a fun game to play test. Is there a game that you guys have that is just like kind of interesting, like John Carpenter's Toxic Commando? Maybe that one I jump in. Is there anything that's just in the your mind that you're like, okay, for this I might actually do it?
A game, a remake, I would do. A game that I already know. Like you give me
you say, oh, come on,
right.
Give me a crazy answer.
No, I'm grabbing my stuff and going home.
Lord,
that's my answer.
Funny that you say that, Malding, because I was gonna say the remake when it comes out, the Metal Gear Solid 4 remake. I would 100% play test that because I have Metal Gear the Delta fresh on the mind, and I just think that game is great. So I'm like, I would play for sure a Metal Gear Solid 4 remake. I think a Nintendo type of game, like if there was another Zelda coming out, I would be totally for that as well.
I feel the same way as Grand Theft Auto. I wanted that complete experience, flawless. I don't want to play test something like that.
Damn it, I didn't want to agree with you, but Malding, I would agree with you on that one. That makes total sense. Well, if listeners have made it this far, definitely sound off in the comments. Let us know what game would you play test for, and what are your thoughts on the marathon or any of the stories on this thing?
Also, you can check out trailers that we discussed today. You can check out a trailer for Hell Is Us on our YouTube channel.
Good shout out. That pretty much wraps up everything else we have for this week. So if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast, please tell 191 friends. And on behalf of Matthew Moulding, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.